Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Network 216 Browns versus Colts pregame show. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Mr. Eddie McDonald, Jacob Roach, and Jack Robinson. Gentlemen, good Sunday morning. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling good about the Browns game. I'm feeling good after a good weekend. Ohio State just won yesterday. There's nothing to be upset about right now. Now that could change at 1 o'clock, and hopefully it doesn't. But hey, I don't think it does today. But so I'm real happy that we have Browns football again.
I played so much Spider-Man 2 yesterday that my PS5 controller died twice. It died twice, so it has been a great weekend for me. Yeah,
dude, that's great. I love it. I love hearing that. As always, there is a lot to get into today. But of course, before we do, guys, as a reminder, drop a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed already to Network 216, please consider subscribing as we're on the road to try and reach 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We really would appreciate that support. We're about 800 away. Seems far. It's really not. Thanks for all your help. So really would appreciate that support. As always, you can watch the show not only on YouTube, but also the Lockerverse app. In the Dog Pound Lounge. So if you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. We're going to get to as many as we can today. And guys, the big news, of course, of the week, Deshaun Watson did not practice on Wednesday, practice limited on Thursday, practiced fully on Friday. Like all accounts say, he's going to be good to go today. Obviously, that's a huge lift for the Browns, but honestly, what are your expectations for Deshaun Watson coming back off of this shoulder injury, but also just the fact that, I mean, he nearly hasn't played football for about a month. So what are you guys' expectations for him today?
I don't expect them to have any designed running plays.
But that's what he
does. That was.
But I mean, I think they're going to kind of do what they did kind of with PJ last week, where they kind of get him started with a lot of the short game. Just kind of make sure that he's, comfortable because, yeah, like you said, he hasn't played for a month. So, I mean, you don't want to say that there might be rust, but, there's going to be a little bit of, getting back into the flow of things after not playing for a month. So get him back kind of in the flow of things. And then I honestly, I think that they're going to be doing a lot of running today. I don't think that they're going to want to, make him throw like 30 times today, just because probably don't want to put too much stress on that shoulder after just getting him back for the first time.
We say that, and that's exactly what they're going to come out and do, just throw the ball 30, 35 times. And everything's just going to be what it is. That's usually how it goes. I don't expect a lot, but I don't expect him to be bad either. Like maybe a little bit of rust early, and then I just think he eases into it. Because he is an athlete who's played this position for many years now. And I know we haven't really seen him in like a month. Like you said, it doesn't feel like a month, but it has been close to that. I think he'll be a little rusty at first, but I think what happened in Tennessee is they got him to get the ball quickly and early. And I think they do that again. Then you can open up later and take the deep shots and hopefully they connect. So I don't know. I expect like B graded play today.
Yeah, I mean that's it could be a lot worse, I suppose. When you look at it from that aspect, but I'm with you because I think, Eddie, building off of what you said in terms of like what happened in Tennessee, you could feel his confidence start growing in that game. A lot of that short and intermediate stuff that they did early on really allowed him to attack and push the ball down the field a little bit later in that, especially in that second half. And he pushed the ball down there to Amari Cooper a few times, and really you could just, Casey and I, and Casey Kinnaman will join us here shortly. We were doing the watch party for that game on the PSF app, and I know Tyler's doing the watch party today, so you guys want to go check that out. But that's what we kept saying. Okay, build it a little bit. Build a little bit of confidence here. Build a little bit of confidence there, and just kind of grow. You can run the football in the Colts. They don't have Grover Stewart in the middle as well. You can run the football on them. So if you can run the football, establish that, be balanced, use some play action, move the pocket a little bit. Hopefully you get the Jed Wills of last week because he was pretty good. And if you can get that, will be good. But yeah, man, early build confidence, second half, go for the kill shot. If you're in range for it. I don't know if you'll be, I have a lot of confidence in this defense today, but early on, it would be about trying to build his confidence back up.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Watson, I need to see some easy throw, and I think we're going to see that. But get the screen game involved. We saw it last week. It was really effective against the 49ers. Would have been a touchdown to David Njoku, but that's beside the point. I think you need to utilize the screen game today because I think this is a defense that is going to try and come after Watson. You know that he is not played for nearly a month. He's only practiced twice in that time span pretty much. So I think they're going to try and get pressure on, force him to make some bad decisions in this game. But also, I just think with Watson, take what the defense gives you, man. Like, we don't need you to throw the ball 50 yards down. Now, would it be great? Do I want to see it? I mean, of course. But there's no need for that today. I don't think it's needed. The run game, though, I'm glad you brought that up, Jack. The run game, however, we might have a little bit of a question mark with the run game. Kareem Hunt is a game-time decision with a thigh injury. The Browns have called up Deion Jackson. He is now on the active roster. Deion Jackson is very serviceable as an NFL back. They still have Pierre Strong Jr. So how much, guys, of a loss would it be not having Kareem Hunt in this game? Obviously scored a touchdown last week. He seems to have brought a little bit of a spark to this offense in the run game. So if Kareem Hunt can't go, how much of a loss is that, not only for Deshaun Watson not having Kareem Hunt, but also just the Browns offense as a whole if Kareem Hunt cannot go today?
I don't think it's like a killing blow. It's not like something that is, I think, going to be that big of a deal. I do think that it is an issue in terms of the fact that I think he's probably one of the best running backs that we utilize in the screen game. And it seems like he has been getting a lot of, he did get a kind of a step from last season to this season, and that he seems to be a little bit faster, seems to be able to drive the ball a little bit further on those like upfield runs. So I think that we're going to miss him in the fact that like his passing presence is actually notable in terms of like, again, his screen game. He's really good at catching screens and getting positive yardage, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a loss. I think that they'll just try to, utilize screen games with David, maybe put Pierre out there, or maybe they're going to utilize just Jerome and Deion and just see kind of how that works out. But kind of like what Jacob said, like they're missing some of their interior defensive players. So you can probably get away with just, putting Jerome out there and using him as a bell cow today.
Real quick, before anyone jumps in on that, it would not surprise, and I could be wrong on this, it would not surprise me if Deion Jackson got 5 to 8 touches in this game. Really wouldn't, playing against his former team. He knows the Colts. And for anyone who's wondering, like, why would Deion play over Pierre Strong? When the Browns brought Deion Jackson to the practice squad, I was surprised he didn't sign to an active roster somewhere, because I think Deion Jackson's a pretty serviceable back. So I like what he can do, but yeah, we'll see.
I noticed they've used Pierre Strong a lot more in special teams.
Yeah,
I feel he made a couple big plays last week on special teams on some of those punts. So I think that's why we haven't seen him there, and with Kareem Hunt there, because I was thinking, why haven't we seen him? Then I thought about it, oh, he's on special teams. The loss of Hunt, I don't think it's a massive thing. It's not like, oh wow, what are we going to do now? It's not like if Watson wasn't playing. But yeah, Hunt's been fine. I think he's going to continue to get fine. I think, was it a thigh injury that he's dealing with?
It's a thigh. You could see against San Francisco, he clearly had like a little bit of a limp. I think it's more being precautionary. I mean, the guy hasn't played a ton of football.
That's right. So I don't think it's a big deal.
What I thought.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I won't say it.
No,
I won't say it.
You have to say it now.
I was just going to say, I thought not being in football shape wasn't a real thing, but whatever.
People don't understand what football shape is and isn't. So
facts.
That's what we'll say here. That's what we'll say.
That's all we'll say.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sorry to interrupt.
Did you want to add on this, sir?
Yeah, sure, I will. I just thought that Eddie had more.
Nope, I was done.
I thought Eddie had more to say.
Nope.
Okay, all right, okay. I can do it. I can take it from there then. Yeah, like I have been really impressed with some of these players on special teams in general. So I think that's a really good point talking about Pierre Strong playing a lot of his snaps on specials, just because you can really see good players making plays on special teams. Like, I don't know how he did it necessarily, but Bubba Ventrone has those dudes, like starters and all, being like, yeah, I'll go out there and put my body on the line for a kickoff. I don't give a shit, which is awesome. Like, that is awesome. But it's like, we haven't seen that in forever. So, like, it's a good point to talk about. Like, maybe Pierre's not getting as many touches. Like, I would like to see him get some more touches, but maybe it's because he's making such an impact on special teams that they're pretty much putting the emphasis on that role. And that's potentially why we've seen better special teams in general. But yeah, like Jerome Ford got better as the last week went on. And I think a lot of that had to do with the offensive line was playing a lot better than they had played in the previous 4 games. And I don't know, he just got some confidence and he stopped trying to bounce every damn thing outside. Like, I get it, buddy. Like, there's some runs to the outside, but there's also some runs between the tackles, especially if you're running a power run on the inside of the offensive line. That's probably that's probably where you should go, bub. Like, but like, I thought he really grew. It would stink to be without Kareem Hunt. Because I do think he looks really healthy. He looks better than last year. He looks like a guy that has a nice role on this team. But as you said, with Jackson, he's a pretty serviceable wide receiver. Jesus, running back, and mix that in with Pierre Strong. I think you'll be okay, especially because you have Watson back. If Watson wasn't back, I would feel a little bit more like Hunt's absence would be a bigger loss. But I think it would stink, but I think it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Ryan joining us from Finland. Man, appreciate that.
Finland.
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate that support. Mick is here as well. Let's freaking go. If you think about it, Jerome Ford has not had that many NFL runs. I mean, that is pretty true. He didn't get many touches last year, obviously, with Chubb and Kareem Hunt being there.
Man,
but yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
The Browns in Finland.
We have like 8.
If you're watching the Browns in Finland, every game is a primetime game.
Is that right?
It's at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night if you're watching it. If it's at 1 o'clock here.
Oh wow, that's
Jeez,
sweet.
Man.
I need to visit.
That's crazy to think about. That's crazy.
Do you know? Sorry, I just want to talk about people in different time zones. We have a friend. We have a friend in Australia. I think his name is also Mick, isn't it? And he's in Australia, and so 1 o'clock games are like 4 a.m. for him on a Monday morning, and he's a high school math teacher. Math teacher, so he gets up at like 3 a.m.
That's nuts.
I asked him one time. He was on our show not last summer, but the summer before that. Like, and he was like, "Yeah." I said, "So like, how many like coffees do you guys have in that day?" And he's like, "Probably like 5 doubles across the day." And he's like, they get together at one of their friends' houses, so that whoever is going over to the other person's house picks up the first round of coffee on his way there. Gets the coffee, goes over there. The game gets done typically in time for them to then go teach high school math.
That's a lot.
Dude, that really is crazy if you think about it. I love the dedication. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, that's absolutely sweet. So, well, first off, SM Corey says Ford gets arm tackle way too much. Ford's gonna. I feel like, okay, I've been hard on Jerome Ford, but like I said earlier this week, I think maybe he just needs more touches and he's gonna start becoming the player that we think he is. But I'll admit, until last week, until he broke some of those runs, I'm like, dude, stop running into your own lineman. Like, I saw it so many times, but I will say he's starting to improve. Ryan answered your guys' question every week, Sunday Night Football, 8 p.m. kickoff.
Let's go.
That's it.
I love it.
So
I love
that is pretty sweet. I think that is really cool. But as far as Browns with injuries, everyone else looks like they're pretty much good to go. Batonio is back, which is awesome that Batonio is back. Watson, looks like everyone is pretty much good to go. On the Colts side of things, though, they are going to be without not only this game, but for the rest of the year, Gardner Minshew will be the Colts starting quarterback because Anthony Richardson is out for the season with a shoulder injury. So for the Colts guys, how big of a loss is that for them? I mean, Anthony Richardson basically guaranteed you a rushing touchdown or two every week if you're the Colts. And now you don't have him anymore. Showed a lot of promise as a rookie, but now they shut him down. So how big of a loss now is that for the Colts?
It's pretty big. I'm real bummed about that injury. I think that he went to a perfect situation for him. And then with Jonathan Taylor there, then Jonathan Taylor obviously didn't play the first however many weeks. But then we didn't get to see them together really. We didn't get to see that. So I'm real bummed, but that's massive because I like Gardner Minshew, and I was one of the people who wanted him here in Cleveland to back up Watson this year during the offseason. And he's serviceable, but he's sort of like Baker Mayfield where he can build up, and then one of those games just, shits the bed, and that's what it is. And that defense is – our defense of the Browns is, I think, going to be after him early and often. And their offensive line isn't as good as our defensive line. So I think it's going to be a long day for Minshew. And I think that if Richardson was playing, not that they couldn't get pressure on him, but he is more escapable in the pocket than what Minshew is.
Yeah, and I mean Minshew also he's going to have a rough day just because I think they already have said that they're going to have a rookie tackle starting this game.
Blake Freeland, I believe. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
I love Blake Freeland.
Up against
yeah, I love Blake Freeland.
Up against this Browns defense, and even if we're just looking at last week, up against the Jaguars defense, the Jags have had a really, really good defensive front in this first like 7 weeks or 6 weeks, and he completely struggled. He threw 3 interceptions or something last week. It was just
bad.
A rough day.
He was not
office.
very good last week.
Yeah, it was a rough day at the office. I don't think it's going to get much easier. He can make throws. He can make passes like Eddie said. He's like Baker. He can have good flashes of good football. And he's a quarterback in the NFL. He's going to get some throws that you're like, okay, well, that's just a good throw. He's going to make them. And he has guys like Michael Pittman on the outside. You've seen guys like Josh Downs. He has guys he can throw it to. The issue is that I just don't know if he's going to have enough time to really get anything done because this defensive line will just do way too much work on that offensive line. And I just don't think that they're going to have that much success in the passing game today.
Yeah. Gardner Minshew, I'll give him this. He's a guy Baker Mayfield's a good example, but I think more so Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is a guy that as a backup can pretty much, in my opinion, go anywhere and win you a couple games. Mm-hmm. But that and he'll have some games where he looks really good. And then he'll have other games where he completely just falls flat on his face. And there are always going to be NFL backups like that. And I think he's a prime example of that. Today, he's going to have his hands full, of course, but it's also not going to surprise me if he looks decent. Because he is he's solid. He's a guy, like you said, Eddie. I wouldn't have minded him as the Browns backup because he's a guy that, nothing against PJ Walker, but let's say if the Browns are Gardner Minshew, I would feel more confident, as far as my backup quarterback situation than PJ Walker. But, he's going to have his hands full. He is going to have Jonathan Taylor. He's going to have Zach Moss, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs. He's got some weapons around him. So, but this Browns defense, expect them to do what they've done all year.
Yeah, and there's a question here that Ryan asked.
That's what I was going for too, Eddie.
So I saw it in the comments, and I was very intrigued by it. And
yeah,
I'll let you start that, Jacob, because I'm very intrigued by that.
Yeah, it's funny. You're like, oh, there's a comment. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to read the same comment I was about to read. It was fantastic. But Ryan asked, what do you guys think about the narrative of this being a so-called trap game? Personally, I think this is an odd narrative about the game, and so far the Browns really earned a trap game there. And so far have the Browns really earned a trap game narrative. Here's the thing about that. In terms of what you traditionally think of when you think of a trap game, in terms of Eddie and I did a schedule prediction show right before the season, and I predicted that they would lose this game as a trap game.
Interesting.
Said that before week 1, back on, and because I thought they go against a really good Cardinals team at home. They'll have Cardinals, good Lord, 49ers game at home, and they have to battle to get, like, those are not the same damn thing at all.
Nope.
Not even close.
Nope.
They are not even close to the same thing. They're both wear red. That's what it was. But the 49ers, they win that. They got to go onto the road. At the time, I thought Anthony Richardson would be the quarterback. Obviously, some things have changed since then. But it has the feeling of it. But the reason I don't think so is because you're getting Watson back. If this was a situation where Watson had come back for the 49ers and thrown for 300 yards and they had really taken it to them, maybe I could see some of that, some letdown after just an absolute slugfest, which it was. The Browns were more physical. They were physical all day, opposed their will on the 49ers. That's why that game went that way. But I think they really want Watson back. I think they will really rally around him. So I see why you would call it a trap game. But from my point of view, I'm not worried about it in that sense.
So trap game is very interesting. I
want to leave this up just so I can keep looking at it, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You're good.
So the trap game, I don't think it's necessarily a trap game because the Browns are only like a game ahead of the Colts in the wild card race right now. So like it's not a trap game on paper. Theoretically, yes, the Browns should be able to dominate this game. And I think where the narrative comes from, Ryan, is the fact that the Browns just beat the 49ers without Watson. They shut down this amazing San Fran offense for the most part, held guys in check. I don't care about injuries. Those happen every week. Mm-hmm. They held them in check, and then they go on, and they're going to face this Colts team who just got a big blow a couple weeks ago where Anthony Richardson not playing the rest of the season. They did get Jonathan Taylor back, but like that's where it comes from. That's where like they come off this high of a win. I think it'd be more of a letdown game, if anything. But we have yet to see the Browns defense really let down anything. Like, yeah, they gave up 28 points against the Ravens, but they didn't really play terrible. They were in short field position a lot, and they were on the field always. So I think that's where the trap game comes from. But they're right there in the stat. It's really like the Browns are 7 and the Colts are 8. So the Colts are not a bad football team. It's not like they are the year before they got into
Cardinals
or the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, I think like that's one of the big things about it being a trap game is that like there needs to be a level of underestimation or just not really being interested that much in the matchup. Like I think a lot of people, they were talking about, I mean, if you could look at the Browns San Francisco game as a trap game for San Francisco, because they were saying, oh, it's a big emotional win for them coming off of Dallas, and they're coming to all across the country, and they're going up against a really good defense. So like, I think a lot of people would say that was a trap game for San Francisco, but it's not like San Francisco came in and were underprepared. It's more so that the Browns defense was just so good. And of course they lost Debo on the first drive. And there were a lot of different factors that benefited the Browns and were negative for the 49ers. But it also just comes down to the fact that the Browns are a really good football team. And I don't think that this Browns team has done anything to let us think that they're going to let their guard down around the Colts. Like, I mean, I think if you were to look at, other teams that they've played, I mean, the Titans were coming in with one of the worst offenses in the league, and the Browns, instead of just, letting them kind of, do whatever because they weren't really expecting them to do much. Because, I mean, Ryan Tannehill has been good all year. Derrick Henry's had kind of an off year. Instead of them kind of letting them come in and kind of do what they've been doing all year, they instead said, no, we're going to make them have the worst performance of their entire careers almost. Like, I mean, that's like the least rushing yards Derrick Henry's ever had. Their passing game was completely just destroyed. They only scored like 3 points. They had less than 100 total yards. I mean, that's the kind of thing that, you could say that in terms of the talent, in terms of what this team should be able to do, games like that should be a trap game. But I think that Jim Schwartz and I think that Kevin Stefanski, they've looked past that kind of stuff. They're like, we're not going to underestimate anybody because they know that any given week, anybody can play well. And I don't see any indication that the Browns are like overlooking the Colts as an opponent, especially because, like, at this current moment in time, the Browns are only 3-2. It's not like they have the ability to overlook games because every game at this point matters, especially this early in the season.
I think the big thing for me is teams coming off playing the 49ers have a very bad, like they have a very bad record at this point. And I think the big thing for me is this, like you said, this is a team that hypothetically is still playing for a playoff spot too. The Colts are in it. They really are. But at the same time, it's a game that you're more talented. Like, it's not close. You're way more talented. You should go out. You should win this game. I think letdown is, like, in trap game, is a narrative that exists anywhere. And I'm talking college football too. I mean, you see it happen very often. I mean, for instance, this is an NFL, but North Carolina is playing at home. It's the 10th ranked team in the country. Virginia has one win. North Carolina's looking ahead and they lose that game. So I think the biggest thing is Stefanski has this team with that 1-0, go 1-0 every week approach, which I really like, and I think that helps. The big thing is you have everything in front of you. But what we've seen in the past from Browns teams is when you're in a situation like this, there's always something that keeps you from winning games you should win. So that's the only reason I call it a trap game, because you're coming off that high. You're coming off that high win. You're coming off one of the biggest wins in your franchise history. Now, can you follow it up by beating a team you should beat? So,
yeah, we haven't seen that in your stats. We have not seen that in your stats. We just haven't. We get this big high win, or we stack a couple wins together and then just lay an egg, and it's just not pretty. So I don't think that's the case, because I do think the addition of Jim Schwartz helps out. And a lot of people want to rip Stefanski because, whatever, and Schwartz is going to take his job. They can complement each other. That's how coaching works. The head coach oversees it all. And here's a guy that has Super Bowl experience. Yeah, I'm going to listen to him too if I'm Kevin Stefanski. Like, why would I not? Why would I bring him onto my staff and just not listen to him? That just makes no sense. But I think the swagger of this team won't allow them to have those letdown. I'm not saying they're going to be dominant right now they're pretty dominant defense. I mean, at some point there's going to be someone that gets big plays on them and stuff, and it's not always going to be 160 something yards of total offense or whatever the numbers are. But I think that swagger they bring, the Juan Thornhill is one of the biggest free agent additions because of what he brings. That not even just his play, just like you see him hyping guys up all the time. He's the one that's like talking, like everyone just like, yeah, he gets the boom box and they're, call the lawyers and copyright because they stole that from the 49ers and they're all hyped. So that's why I think that like we're not going to see the Browns like lose those games that we've been accustomed to like forever.
So I agree with that. Also, not even going to try and pronounce this name because I don't want to get it wrong. So that's the only reason I'm not saying your name. But anyway, we do have a Colts fan here, so cheers to a hard-fought game, and hopefully the winner will be the team who earns it. Hey, I agree. I love seeing opposing fans in here. So if we have more Colts fans that are watching, feel free to tap in and let's make this a good day. But anyway, we have 44 people watching us. So real quick, Jacob. If all 44 of you, if you haven't done so, just go drop a like on this video. It's right on your screen. Just hit that thumbs up. That's all you got to do. If all of you go and do that, that really would help us out a lot.
Can we agree on something? I think I don't know if it's possible. I doubt it'll ever happen. I genuinely
Are we allowed to agree on something?
I don't know. I think that we should make a petition that the Baltimore Ravens should be removed and go to the AFC South, and that the Colts should come to the AFC North, because all of these teams are 4 hours away from each other. I think it's overall better. Like, if the Colts want to go to a Browns game, it's 4 hours. You want to go to the Bengals game, it's 4 hours. You want to go to Pittsburgh, it's 4 hours. They're all closer together. That's actually north. Why is Indianapolis in the AFC South? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Dang.
I don't know, man.
I think that just had to do with the expansion. I think it was just when they were reordering the divisions from the expansion.
You guys want a great stat? You want a great stat today? Gardner Minshew has the highest turnover.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I have that pulled up. And I was about to read it, and then you're just like, no, sir, Bob, it's Tyler's turn. Go for it.
I love turnover-worthy plays. I love turnover-worthy plays.
It is right.
Take the inactive list away from me then. Take the inactive list away. Gardner Minshew has the highest turnover-worthy throw rate in 2023 at 6.4%. Further, he has generated minus 0.35 EPA per play and a 51.1% completion percentage when under pressure. In other words, The Browns, it's time to win the turnover battle today. Let's win the turnover battle, and let's go.
I think the Browns score a defensive touchdown today. I think that this is the game we finally get a defensive touchdown on the season, because I mean
I need it. I need more swagger from this defense. I haven't had enough of it.
I need the boombox again. I need that before the game happens. I need that. That's huge. I love that type of thing, because they were all like in sync with it together. Just like, we're about to go whoop your ass, and they did.
Well, I just think I just love seeing the defense really like come together and have an identity and just like it's like Jim Schwartz, like what they were saying with Jim Schwartz. He wants them to have swagger. He wants them to celebrate every big hit, every big play, because it makes them all, want to make big plays. It makes them all want to do their job. And, like what Juan said at the beginning of the game, I don't know if you guys watched the sideline to sideline that the Browns put up every week. But Juan, he's like, when they have a chant right before the game, they say, when we do our job, we win. And so like, that's the whole thing, is that they just hold each other accountable. They do their job, they win games, and they celebrate on the field. So, I mean, I just love the fact that the defense just seems to be so in sync with each other, and they just celebrate each other. They go out there, they make big hits, and then they just, show off their swagger, man, because that's what it's all about.
Now to Jacob.
Right. Inactive list off the top rope. Off the top rope. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is inactive. Cedric Tillman. I can't pronounce Khalif's last name. Yeah, the cornerback, he's inactive. Ronnie Hickman, Sione Takitaki, Isaiah McGuire, and Siaki Ika. Kareem Hunt is in fact active today.
Oh, okay.
So is Deshaun Watson. Now that we knew, but he is officially active. So first off, does anybody on the inactive list surprise you?
No, you got Harrison Bryant and Greg Newsome, who were questionable, are both active today.
Tillman being inactive a little bit surprises me.
Yeah, I
little.
I didn't hear that much about Tillman's. I knew he was inactive last week.
No, he's healthy.
Is he healthy?
He's a healthy scratch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who got activated that he?
Deion Jackson.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense. Okay, yeah.
So we have 4 running backs today.
Yeah. So I mean, I would assume that Kareem's probably not going to get that much work today. I think they're going to probably just keep him on a snap count or something, because they don't want to make his hip injury any more than it already is, or whatever. Was it a hip injury? I forgot.
It's a strained thigh.
A strained thigh. Okay.
I don't expect him to. I think with 4 backs, you don't use Hunt that much. I could actually see him mainly on third downs.
Yeah, third down back.
Pass blocking situations, maybe. We'll see. I mean, they had to make. When you bring up Deion Jackson, someone's the odd man out. I mean, I get Tillman. We haven't seen a lot of them, but it's a little unfortunate. Because I'll have to admit, guys, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but Donovan Peoples-Jones has not, and now again, that could be game planning, that could be whatever the case may be, has not really had an impact this year. And I'll be honest, if that's going to continue, I'd rather see a little bit more of Cedric Tillman moving forward in that role than DPJ. Now, that said, I know DPJ is a really good blocker, and that keeps him on the field too. But what are your guys' thoughts with all that? What's going on with DPJ?
Trade him.
Yeah,
you already had it. Yeah, Jack.
Now is probably the best time to do it, or like before the trade deadline in a couple weeks. It's probably the best time to do it. Honestly, I that doesn't mean I don't like DPJ. So of course people will say, "Oh, you don't like." I love DPJ, but like you said, Tyler, he has not had an impact this year. I feel I've heard him more getting penalties than I have catches. I know he's made some plays here and there, but I feel I've heard his name getting penalized in that on that stupid jet sweep. He always gets called for holding. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, how are we not fixing this? First, why are we running that stupid play again? And second, why are you doing the same thing you just got in trouble for last week for it? So yeah, DPJ, he hasn't had really anyone to like truly throw it to him. Him and Watson haven't had time to really connect. Then he gets PJ Walker. Now he didn't do much with him. I don't think he had a target last week, actually. And that could just be because he's not open, or because whoever wasn't seeing him. Maybe with Watson back, he gets the ball a little more. I don't know. But now would be the time to trade him, though. Like, especially if he can come out and have a solid game today, get his stock a little higher. But yeah, Jacob, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just hasn't really been getting a lot of production this year. Now, obviously, that's not to say that he's not like really valuable in terms of the fact that he does kind of stretch out defenses, and when you do throw to him, he's very good at contested catches. He does, he's just great at he has great hands. The issue is that he just can't get separation. And I mean, obviously, yeah, I think that it does kind of call into question what his long-term role with the team is. I think a lot of us, especially going into this season, were like, he's going to be a guy that the Browns are probably looking to extend. And obviously, that was also in the context of, Amari Cooper's contract and Elijah Moore getting traded here. But as the year has been going on, it's kind of really starting to show like what role does DPJ really have long term? Like, and I understand this argument. You obviously you don't want to be down a guy, and then all of a sudden you trade away DPJ, and now your wide receiver depth is really low. But I just don't know how. I don't know if they would rather keep DPJ and obviously have him for security, or you trade him away, get another asset, whatever asset that is. Obviously, people are talking about linemen or just some other, I don't know what other position a lot of people are looking at trading him for. And then maybe you get, Cedric Tillman in there and you get him some reps at the same position. I mean, it's a difficult situation, but I think that if they were to trade somebody, I think DPJ would be a prime candidate just because I don't think he's getting the usage and I don't know how much that's going to impact his future here.
Let's switch out DPJ and let's go get Terrace Marshall
just
Jr.
real quick.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, add more speed. Like if you're going to do that sort of thing, that's not a bad idea. There's a question in the comments: is Kareem Hunt playing? Yes, Kareem Hunt is active today.
Not sure how much he's going to play, but I mean he is active. He is active. So, anyone else have any other thoughts on DPJ? I mean, it's kind of. I'll admit it's unfortunate. He was progressing every single year, but the Browns never extended him. The writing was kind of on the wall, too, when you drafted Cedric Tillman, that this was probably going to be his last year in Cleveland. What do you guys think is going on with him this year? Is it just he's really not part of the game plan? What do you think? Because he was on an upward trajectory ever since he came into the league. His stats have gotten better.
I think if you look at the last game that Watson played, though, he had 4 targets and caught 3 of them for 49 yards. I think that's the role you're looking for him, So it depends on what Watson looks like when he comes back. These next 2 weeks are going to determine a lot. But you're right. Once they drafted Cedric Tillman, they at least have a piece in place if they want to move off DPJ. Or there was also the chance he could have played himself out of a contract, but it's been the exact opposite. It's been underwhelming, lack of usage. The only time he's really touching the ball is when he's fielding a punt, when he decides to field them. It's definitely uncertain. I think next year you're looking at Cedric Tillman and probably Michael Woods for that X receiver, So if they feel like they can get something for him that's going to benefit their team this year, I can see them moving off. But there's also the chance they need him the rest of this year. So it's a weird position. These next 2 weeks are going to determine a lot.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if anyone else had anything to add.
Nope. I don't know if there's anything to add.
Everybody's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
About him and Watson, that's what I was saying, that he doesn't have him. They didn't have it at first, the first couple weeks, and then 3 receptions on 4 targets, 49 yards, and then there goes Watson. So that chemistry wasn't there again. So hopefully they can build that back up, and because he contributes, like you said, Tal, he's almost doubled his stats each year, and it's not going that way so far. But Amari Cooper's on pace for 1,200 yards.
The playmakers have been open.
I mean, Amari Cooper.
That's right.
Playmakers have been open.
He's a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, well, he's quarterback proof. Amari Cooper is very similar to Brandon Cooks. They're quarterback proof. It does not matter what the quarterback play is when they're playing. They're going to do their job and they're going to get theirs, regardless of who's playing quarterback. I mean, PJ Walker just was not very good, and Amari had over 100 yards. It can happen.
I mean, if PJ was a little bit better, he would have had.
And he's one of those wide receivers, but. Like 250.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had like a touchdown.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
And he was on.
But yeah, no.
Yeah,
Watson's
he's starting.
active.
Watson is active. Yeah, for those who are just joining, Deshaun Watson is active. Kareem Hunt's active. Cedric Tillman was inactive, which I said was a little bit of a surprise. But when you call up Deion Jackson, someone was going to be the odd man out. It made sense that it was going to be Cedric Tillman, I think. But also Dorian Thompson. For those who aren't aware, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is also inactive today. So this brings up actually a really good question.
So it's still
How do the Browns handle situation after this week? Because you know that you can't bring up PJ. You can't bring up PJ Walker from the practice squad anymore. You have to sign him.
I think he's subject to waivers before anything.
Yeah,
they can sign him before he goes to waivers, and then he can choose if he wants to go elsewhere or not. So I would just sign him. I thought they might have done it this week just to have him, there. So in case something does happen, but I think at this point there's not someone that's out there that you can go get, or I don't think DTR is really that ready based off what we've seen on the one game that he played. So I would just sign him. I don't know who I move off the roster for that to happen, but that's not my job to figure out. So.
Yeah, I feel like you have to sign him. And that's nothing against DTR. He's just not ready. And I think that you need to have a guy who for 100% certain can come in and immediately take over the game plan. Obviously, he's not gonna really win you any games particularly, but he can at least run the offense sufficiently enough that he doesn't lose you the game outright. So I think that you kind of just have to sign him. You're kind of stuck in that situation. I think a lot of people would be way more comfortable if they somehow got a trade back for Jacoby, but that's not going to happen either. So
I think the big thing is with this, they might I think PJ's coming back, but they might see if they can upgrade in some way. But the other problem to doing that, PJ now is already familiar with the system. So why would you go out and potentially add someone else that's got to take time to get acclimated? So I think they do bring back PJ. I'll admit, seeing DTR inactive is a little bit surprising because I almost wonder if they were going to have 3 quarterbacks active today. But they must feel, 100% confident.
So the third quarterback rule only requires him to be on the active roster. So he does not need to be active to play. If Watson and PJ are injured, they can't bench them. They can't bench either one of them. If they bench PJ Walker if Watson got hurt and PJ Walker went in there and he sucked, they couldn't bench him. He'd have to get hurt too. But if both quarterbacks get hurt and cannot play if there is an active quarterback on the roster, which DTR is, he's just inactive for the game as long as he's third quarterback.
Okay. No, that's good to know. The rules still confused me a little bit, so that's why I wasn't 100% sure on it. But no, it's good to have.
Well, the Patriots saw some clarification last week. The Patriots. Yeah. What's the kid's name?
Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Malik Cunningham. Which one?
Malik Cunningham. They had him at wide receiver at different times this summer. So they moved him to the backup, but the emergency quarterback can only play quarterback.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense now. No, for real. Let's see if we have any other comments or questions here. Okay. All right. We're not getting into that conversation again. There's no reason to talk about that anymore. But anyway, so in this game, you want some other players that maybe haven't necessarily, I'm not going to say haven't shown up, but you want to see them really have a breakout performance today. Who is someone on the offensive and defensive side of the ball you really want to see be that difference maker for the Browns?
Zadarius, he needs to get a sack today. He hasn't got a sack yet. He's been getting a bunch of pressures. He's been doing great every game. If you were to just look at the stats, say Zadarius didn't do anything, hasn't done anything, in terms of just sacks and total overall pressures and everything. But you see it in game that he's wrecking guys. He just isn't getting the sack numbers. I think today's the day he finally gets a sack. He finally gets. I think he might get a couple sacks today.
I like that.
I really like that one too.
You get Greg Newsome. I want to see him have a pick and return one. Yeah. If it's not him, Martin Emerson. I don't care who in the secondary it is, but let me get Greg Newsome for that because I think that I don't think there's like a bad part of that defense, but I want to see him get something. And I would love to see Emerson get a pick for a second week in a row. I'd love to see Ward get a pick, but Greg Newsome for me is who I think is going to get that pick.
Give me the Chief. Give me David Njoku.
Yeah.
Let's get this dude involved, man. Heavy. They need to work quick game, and I don't want them to do that with Elijah Moore. Let's let Elijah Moore run some routes down the field. Let's get Njoku in the quick game early. He's been ready to bust on those tight end screens. They just keep screwing up the blocking and getting illegal downfield. But he's ready to go, man. You can see when he gets the ball in his hands, he's ready to get some yak. And that's something this team has lacked, man. They're not getting yards after the catch. Let's get Njoku involved early, and let's get this dude a tutty, man. He's a prime red zone guy, man. I want to see him get in there.
Heck yeah.
On National Tight End Day.
That's right.
Make it
What do
happen.
you mean every day is
Let's
National
go.
Tight End Day?
Not in Cleveland, it's not.
Yeah. Mine is. Mine is.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, it's very tight.
Okay.
JOK, man. Like, I know that maybe that's not going out on a limb to say JOK, but the dude's just been a damn menace at this point. He's just been all over the field. We talked about it. Like, going into this year, there was a lot of people that were like, well, can the linebackers play? They struggled last year. They didn't really do any major upgrades to that, but they kept him clean. And by keeping him clean, we knew all offseason that's what the Browns thought was going to happen. That the upgrades to defensive line were going to make the linebackers be able to play, and that they didn't need to make any significant upgrades to the position. And they were right. They were 100% right. Anthony Walker is playing. Don't undersell that he was able to get out of concussion protocol this year. That is huge. But JOK is a damn heat-seeking missile. I wrote up bold predictions yesterday on Browns Wires, and the first thing I went right off, five negative yardage plays from JOK today. He will cause some sacks, maybe some tackles for loss, but in the end, he'll cause 5 plays to go backwards at least in today's matchup.
Also, JOK has some of the best pregame fashion of anyone in the league. The dude in tribal African garb. I mean, that dude looks he is clean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go with the guy that I've pretty much said every single week, but it's seriously gonna happen at some point. It's Elijah Moore. Dude, I'm telling you, he makes such a difference to this offense. He's creating elite separation. And I'm not knocking PJ. There's a throw in that game against San Francisco. All he's got to do is hit Elijah Moore, and it's a touchdown
more
all
than
day
one.
long. And you know what? It's coming.
There was more than one.
I'm telling you, it's coming, guys. Elijah Moore is going to have that breakout. I know people are tired of him seeing run reverses and all that. I agree. It should be Marquise Goodwin. Get Goodwin in space as much as you can. Telling you the Elijah Moore breakout game is coming, okay? There's no reason why it can't be today. You saw that Watson targeted him a lot against the Titans, got him involved a lot more in the game plan, in the passing game. I think that's going to continue. So Elijah Moore is my guy, and he's my guy until it doesn't happen, I guess. I mean, like – I'm being for real. It's there. Like, it is there.
It is. It's
just got to be executed.
Can we just get rid of the tweet altogether? Can we just not do that for anyone? I don't care who it is. Can we just not do that anymore? I'm so tired of that play. It hasn't worked. It's not working. Just don't do it.
Marquise Goodwin got 20 yards.
He got with Marquise Goodwin, dude.
Goodwin got 20 yards.
1 out of like 50.
20 yards.
Exactly. 1 out of 15 attempts, and the only one that worked was Marquise Goodwin. So just keep doing it with Marquise.
The good one.
You can do it with that. Also, look, Elijah Moore. I think the receivers have a really good chance of just really taking over, because again, the Colts are down on secondary help. I think they're starting 2 rookie corners. So, I mean, Amari's going to be open all game. I think that I just don't know how a rookie's going to be able to handle his release. It's just not. It's not really fair.
No, it really isn't fair. And just find a way to get him the ball. But I also kind of agree with Casey too. I'm still waiting for that I'm still waiting for David Njoku. I'm waiting for it, and it seems like we say that one almost every. We were saying that last season too.
We've said it every year. We know. Exactly.
I'm in year 7 of saying it.
we know exactly
He's been
who
here for
he is.
7 years.
He's super athletic, dude. I mean, the fact that he had that great touchdown, touchdown last week that got called back because of a hold. I mean,
yeah.
My God, he can't catch a break.
He was picked right before the Browns could have taken T.J. Watt in the same draft they got Myles Garrett.
Yeah, we don't talk about it, okay?
Well, I had to, but we know who David Njoku is. Of course, we see it all the time. Oh, this is his breakout year. No, it's not. There's just no breakout for him. He's going to be a solid, steady player that's going to get you anywhere from 4 to 6 catches a game if you let him, if he's in the game plan. And he's also going to block for you and help this run game out and help your quarterback out in that perspective. We know who he is, and we all love and appreciate him, especially when he nearly has this fire issue, and 2 days later or a day later, he's playing football. And then he didn't miss last, and everyone's like, oh, he's probably not going to play next week. That dude's a warrior. And so we know who he is. Like all this clamor for, oh, he's just as good as any of the top 2 or 3 in the league. No, he's not, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But I do think that he can be involved more, especially in that short game, because he is open a lot. Like he is open a ton. If you watch it and see him and watch him, he is open a lot.
So
can we talk for a second about the other guy in this picture?
Let's have fun here.
Well, Casey?
Can we talk about the other guy in the picture real quick? The one big worry for me is coming off a highly emotional game against San Francisco as a letdown. But I think the fact that Anthony Walker is active today, I think that defense is going to be so fired up to go back to Indy where they didn't want him.
Yeah.
And with that as their leader, that is their captain, their green dot, and play hard for AWalk. I think that is huge, and it doesn't get talked about enough. There's so many names on this defense, you might get lost in the shuffle, but that is the voice. That is the heart of that defense is AWalk. And the fact he was able to clear concussion protocol and go today, I think is absolutely massive to avoid a letdown.
Hell yeah, Casey.
Yeah. Huge leader on that side of the ball. And especially him going back to Indianapolis. Yeah, I like that a lot. So before we do give our game predictions here, because we got a little less than 10 minutes left, let's have a little fun for the betting community out there. What is one either anytime touchdown score that you like today or prop that you like?
Can I just do my whole parlay?
I mean, if you want, yeah, sure.
Let's do this. I got a parlay that I love. I read this parlay on Off the Leash, our show, Casey and I's show on PSF on Fridays. We preview the games at 9 p.m. I got this parlay. Yeah, I like seamless. I'm so used to just selflessly plugging every fucking thing. Quote.
Dude.
Anyway, so starting at the top, you're allowed one.
Yeah,
I got we got Watson's over under is set to 225 passing. I'll take Watson's over on 225 passing. Gardner Minshew's over under is 197.5. I'll take the under 197.5 passing yards. Amari's over under is 63.5. I'll take over 63.5 receiving for Amari. Watson's over under on touchdowns are 1.5. I'll take the over on 1.5. And Josh Downs, the Colts wide receiver, his over under set at 40.5. I'll take the over.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Dude, his over under Josh Downs is 37.5.
It was 40.5 when I got it on Friday.
Okay. Gotcha. Is there any? Okay. So I think one that I really like, anytime touchdown scores are very, very difficult to predict here, this is easy. I like David, and it's not much, I know, but I like David Njoku for 25 yards at minus 180. I think that's pretty good value there. Because that's nearly plus money for David Njoku to get 25 yards. So I think that one's really good. What's another one that really? There's one other one I wanted to do that really stuck out to me. Let's see.
I'm going.
It was actually Deshaun. It was Deshaun Watson. So Jacob, you had him 2 touch over 1.5. Even if you take him just for 1, it's minus 520. There are a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL for 1 touchdown. It's like 1,100 or 2,000 or something ridiculous like that. For just 1 Watson passing touchdown, it's minus 520. So again, I think that's pretty solid.
The Colts fan in the comments said take the over for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Offenses are barely getting 200 yards on the Browns defense, let alone passing for 200 yards. But that's the thing.
Yeah, I think they might be doing a lot of passing this game, possibly. So there's a chance, but I don't think that I would take any bets on over for Minshew in this game, especially not 197.
I can't touch Minshew's. Like,
Yeah.
I can't touch it, dude. It's
Pause.
it's rough.
It's a
Is there
tough
anyone else that has anything they want to?
Amari Cooper, anytime touchdown score. I think we see him get into the end zone today. And I think it's,
By the
I
way,
think it's
cute.
30 or more yards.
Also, the Browns just tweeted out literally seconds ago, Deshaun Watson throwing some deep balls.
Oh my.
Okay.
Looks pretty.
So
He
there's
looks
no
pretty
excuse.
happy too, dude. He looks.
There's-
Hey man, he looks like he's happy. He's like, oh man, I'm pumped. I'm so pumped. Oh my goodness. Oh man. So one key to the game for the Browns to win today. What has to happen for the Browns to win today? I feel like one's going to be obvious, but someone just say it anyway.
Just stop turning over the damn football.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Just win the turnover
They could
battle.
like
man.
turn Southern there. Wow, that was weird.
Dude, you did. That was kind of weird. You did do that.
I'm Appalachian as hell. I'm Appalachian as hell, man. I don't know anybody. It shocks people. They'll be like, "Oh my god, you sound like a redneck." I am. I'm from southeastern Ohio. Like, I live in a town with 1 red light and 4 stop signs. So I don't know why that surprises anyone.
That actually surprises the hell out of me, but
Yeah.
I thought like you were like close to Cleveland and you might still be, but you have a stoplight
No,
or stop signs. Huh? That's something.
No, I'm in southern Ohio. I'm 4.5 hours from Cleveland.
Oh well, never mind that.
Yeah.
But that's not the South still. That's South Ohio.
It is. I'm southeastern Ohio. I'm in the Appalachian. We're in the Appalachian region. It is.
Where?
It
so
is.
is the South everything below Pennsylvania?
Oh, gee.
No,
I don't understand what you're trying
dude,
to say.
I'm in the. We're in the
I
Appalachian
understand what you're saying,
Mountains.
but you're
This
not,
is Appalachia. That's what I'm telling you.
you're not Southern.
You're not. We got to move past
You're
this.
above the line. You're above the line.
We got to roll this up.
Dude,
I got
why
a nervous
does it
poop.
matter? Okay.
I got a
Game
nervous
pre-
poop coming, so we got to get this here.
Game predictions. Jack, we'll start with you. After you picked against the Browns last week and everyone hated you.
Hey, listen. We don't talk about that, okay? I didn't dodge or anything, okay? I had other business to attend to, but I think the Browns are going to handily win this game. I think that I don't think it's going to be really that big of a deal, honestly. I think the Browns are going to win 27-10.
I'm gonna go now because I gotta go. Browns 24-13. Bye.
All right, see ya, Jacob. Enjoy. Good luck. All right, Eddie.
Okay, I don't know how to follow that one. I'm gonna go. I don't know how to follow that. I'm gonna go 30-6 Browns.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I love it.
I hate that we're like so close, man. Mine's been what it's been all weekend. Close to Jack here. I think it's 27-9. I don't think the Colts score a touchdown. I think this is a Matt Gay 50-yard field goal type day. I think they're not going to sniff the red zone.
All right.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm up. Before I give mine, though, guys, we have 74 people watching. Thank you guys so much. All I'm asking right now, drop a like. Just drop a like. Hit that thumbs up button. Really show your support for us by just hitting the thumbs up button. Even if we'd love you to subscribe, but even if you don't feel like subscribing today, completely fine. All we ask is put a thumbs up on this video right now. If every single one of you does that, we'll have well over 100 likes on this video total from today. So that's all we ask. Just drop a like. I've said all week that I think the Colts are going to come out and at least put their first drive together, kind of like San Francisco, all right? I think the Browns then are going to settle down, and then I think they will end up taking over this game. But I do think Gardner Minshew gets a touchdown in this game. I do. I think also I have a feeling that they're going to get a garbage touchdown too. I do. I just do. And probably a field goal attempt, but I have the Browns 31-17. I still think the Browns are going to end up winning this game pretty well. I think Watson's going to play well. I've said to some of my buddies, I think he's going to play solid. I don't expect him to light it up, but I think he's going to play solid today. And that's really right now. That's all I'm asking. Just play solid. Don't turn the ball over. Win. You know what's amazing? If the Browns could win the turnover battle in every game, we're probably undefeated right now. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But just get some turnovers today. You saw I read out Minshew's turnover percentage, worthy percentage. Force some turnovers today. Let's go Browns. It's going to be a fun game. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap things up today?
Yeah, go visit homage.com.
Buy stuff from Homage. Look at this sick shirt that I got at the game on Sunday, man. This thing was sick.
Awesome,
I had to buy
dude.
this.
It's awesome. I'm not wearing mine, but I'm wearing Bernie Kosar. So go Browns anyway.
Who are you wearing, Casey?
Yeah.
Joe Thomas.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh.
That's Joe Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
He never got to actually wear this jersey. He never got to wear this throwback jersey. They were supposed to wear it in 2015, but then the Ravens screwed him on the Thursday night game, and they had to wear a white jersey. So he never got to wear this, but they made it, so I copped it.
Nice.
That's a collector's item.
I like it. I like it, man. Yeah, I like it. Well, guys, thank you to everyone that tuned in to this Network 216 pregame show. As always, we'll be back next week. Even though it's a 4 o'clock game, same time, same place. Appreciate everyone that shows their support every single week. As always, hope you guys enjoy the game today. And go Browns.
Woo! Like how it's up.